Welcome back to Leck Tech, where technology is made easy. I'm your host, Leck. Before we get into the title content of this episode, the last episode was 47 minutes long. That was the Blender Basics episode. I never want to go over 30 minutes in an episode again. I will try to keep the episodes between 10 and 15 minutes long. Even though there was a lot of good information in the Blender Basics episode, I want to keep the episodes shorter than 30 minutes maximum. Today's episode is explaining how I made the audio for this web series. Most people want to know how to do what they see. So last episode I explained how I did the three-dimensional animation and graphics. In this episode, I will explain how I did the audio. The software I used to make audio was Musescore and Audacity. I used the website in the description link below for royalty-free music. I won't be showing how I did the background music because I may change how I do the background music in the future, and it's really, if you care, you can go to the link in the description under the video in YouTube. So the Musescore website, this is what I used to create the introduction music you just heard. Now I'm opening up Musescore. Assume you download and installed from the website. It's free. So assume I downloaded it and see it detected my operating system. So Musescore is opening. Musescore is free and good for people who know how to read and write sheet music. It will do almost anything you need with writing music, whether you're creating music to sing, making sheet music for a garage band, or making music for an orchestra. There we go. A few months ago, I rewrote music for a band using Musescore, this software, where they performed for thousands of people, and the people who were listening paid to get in, just to listen to bands. So, I mean, it's good software, and a lot of... I mean, you don't have to pay for just about anything with computers. Software. It's all free. They're the good free versions. There are a lot of good things you can do with Musescore. You can print out music. You can have the computer play music you wrote, like what I did. And I think Musescore can even record someone singing or playing an instrument and automatically generate notes on the sheet, like sheet music. So this is the sheet music I used for the web series. This is the actual sheet music you just heard. And the computer used this and played it. Yeah, it goes on for like 100 measures or something. So I'm not going to get into this right now. Just give you a glance at it. If you know how to read sheet music, you'll see it. This is what you heard. And this is Musescore, Musescore. Here are the links. Okay, the next software I used was Audacity. Now this is editing audio. Audacity can do all the editing and converting of audio files you will ever need. There are only a few things Audacity cannot do, but those things are really only important to audio engineers and audio operators. There are a few things I wanted to show you with Audacity, though. So the first thing I want to show is how to install Audacity. Installing Audacity is pretty straightforward. After you install Audacity on Windows, you have to install plugins, probably. Plugins will allow you to use MP4, MP3, Flash, and a few other formats you probably will encounter while editing audio. Here's the page to download additional plugins. If you don't get all the plugins when you install Audacity in Windows, you do in Linux. Well, yeah, you do. I'm not. If you're an expert in Linux, I'm simplifying it. You do, okay? Because you can automatically get them. In Windows, you have to manually install them. In Linux, you don't. That's the point. Anyway, So these plugins are actually very important. Like, here's some effects. You get a crappy set of effects without the last, but I would suggest doing all of these. So the reason I'm going over this, I'm not going over everything. I'm just going over the things that are not common knowledge, like the rest of my web series. The version of plugins and the version of Audacity have to match. What this means is when you download Audacity, and you can't go back, like say you download and install Audacity, you can't go back months later and install the plugins. It has to be the same day, or around the same time. It's the way Audacity does it. Don't ask me. The saving grace is you don't need to update Audacity every time there's an update. Audio files and audio formats don't change much over time. You really only have to update Audacity every 5 or 10 years, I would suggest. So over 90% of the things I do with Audacity are cutting parts of music tracks, increasing and decreasing volume, and obviously saving the music. Or converting. Anyway, sorry. So I will show you how to do these three things. I think they are by far the most common things people would do with Audacity. Let's open up Audacity. I don't know why it doesn't cache the files. You'll see it takes time to open them every time. Oops. Okay. It's opening, and this is a fast computer. Anyway, over 90% of the thing. First, I'm gonna show you how to save audio from a video as soon as Audacity opens. Yeah, we're waiting for Audacity to load all of the plugins every time. Okay, it did. All right. So, what? Now I'm not gonna. All right, I'm gonna do this slowly, so for the people who are following can follow. So you go to File, Import, Audio, because there's no video, and I'm gonna go to my web series. And show you how to open. This is one of the important things you do with audio. It's obvious how to open audio. You just click on an audio file. I'm going to show you how to pull audio out of a video. So I go to my web series. I go to my final episodes. These are the episodes I did so far. I'm doing the third one right now. I take the first one's shorter, so we'll do that one. And I just double click or open it. And what it's doing is it's demultiplexing the audio out of the video. So Audacity does nothing with video. It's all audio. That audio, like what you hear. So this is literally the WAV file of the first video I did, first episode. You'll see it's louder for the introduction. So this is the introduction. Okay, so that's how you do it. And the first thing I'm showing you is saving. So you don't go to File, Save, because that saves your project. You go to Export. So we're exporting the episode audio. We'll do it to the desktop. Now just leave it what it is. They're saving it as MP3 because I already installed all the plugins. I use Audacity like almost every week. So here's metadata. You can clear all metadata, but I don't have any metadata here. That's stuff in the file, in the header. You can clear it or add. It's metadata. It's data that. All right, I'm not. All right, so I'll just save it. I'll go into that in another episode. All right, so it's exporting now. The audio, basically, it's just saving it. It's exporting. That's a misnomer. It's really just saving it. It's not exporting anything. It should say saving entire file. Anyway, So because it already demultiplexed when it brought it in. All right, so you can do the same thing with audio. You can open up any audio file, MP3, WAV. Here are all the audio files. You'll see the MP3 here, and it's also the audio files here. Audio formats. So there's more, like the CD format is when it gets ripped, it's WAV. And if you care, you can read it. Anyway, so you can switch most of these. Audacity will open, I think, all of these. It will export to most of these. So you can convert audio to audio. Honestly, the ones it doesn't export to, you're never going to need. And if you do, the only times you'll ever need this stuff, I believe, is if you're doing like DVDs, if you're making video DVDs. Anyway, so for like 99% of people, Audacity will just convert any file to any file, any audio. All right, so the second thing is cutting or splitting music, which is pretty simple. Say you want to cut out the introduction, you highlight it. It's left click, drag, release, left click, and then you can press the delete button, which is what I just did on the keyboard. Delete button, undo, delete. I brought it back. Then you could probably do right click. No, I guess not. Okay, so you can't do right click, but you can do edit. Is there a delete? Well, there's a redo delete, but I guess that's a shame. You should be able to, somewhere in the menus, alternative. Well, you could press the delete key. You know, the delete key, the DELETE key. That's what I'm talking about. Not the backspace key, but let's see if the backspace works too. Okay, so you have to have a keyboard, but there is a way. I just don't know how to do it, because I never do it. It's so much easier to hit the delete key, and that's like universal over all audio editing software. I don't know. Remove audio, cut. There it is. There it is. So delete. You could. All right. So that's how you delete the cut the audio, and then you just file export, and it'll save it without the introduction. So the last thing I want to show is increasing and decreasing volume. We're going to use Equalizer, which is an effect. And again, this is after you installed the plugins. It might have it without the plugins, so you might be able to do this without installing those plugins I showed you on this page. But I would highly suggest doing that if you're going to use Audacity. I don't know if it's one of the plugins here. Anyway, so we're doing the plugins effect equalize. Oh, you got to highlight it first. So we have to highlight it. It will not work. This will not work if it's not highlighted. So I did Control A, I highlighted. You could click left click, drag the whole thing, whatever. Okay. So if there's two lines, that means you've done this before. You hit flatten, bring it back. That resets the line. Then you left click. Say I want to make this louder. So I'll bring it up to there. I left click once. And then I click OK. And what it's doing is it's artificially increasing the audio. This is called, for those techies of you, audio engineers, this is called post-production editing. Audio editing. Post-production audio editing. So when it does this, you'll see it'll visually show you the waveform will get louder. And so optimally, you want to get this as close to the top without touching or going over. Now, it did touch because a lot of these are touching the top. So Audacity has a clean clip, but you don't want to do that because it still sounds kind of crappy. So you don't do that. And I already had it close to the top anyway. See, these are real close to the top. So this one might even be at the top. So but if these weren't here, that's what you would do. You like take the highest point here and you try to get that as close to the top as possible. Like say this is the highest point right here. You want to get that as close to the top as possible. You do effect, equalization, and it was a little, I've done this like a lot, so I kind of have a good idea. So you do see, I look at this and get it as close to the top as possible without hitting or touching, and that's how to increase audio professionally. That's what the pros do, and Audacity is the cleanest volume boost I've ever seen in any audio, any software. So this worked. So say all those peaks weren't there. I got this real close to the top, just lucky, and that's what you do. Okay, and the same thing for you do a similar thing for making it quieter. You just hit flatten and you go below. This is -3 decibels. So talking is like 20 decibels. So we're doing less than like between talking and screaming is 20 to 40 60 decibels, depending on how much hot air you have. So if you're only doing like 3 decibels, that's only a fraction of the difference between talking and screaming. And I mean, there's like an airplane, a jackhammer's like 100 decibels, and an airplane's like 140 decibels. So, yeah. Okay, so that's all for today's episode. I plan to make more episodes on each subject, and you can watch all the audio episodes back to back if you ever want to see. You ever want to you want to like see things just about audio. I don't have a second video for any topic yet, but I will be adding sub channels when I do have. For example, I plan to make an episode on composing music in Musescore, because this was just like installing Musescore and showing what I did. That was it. So the next one will probably be composing music in Musescore. And I plan to, like, another example is I plan to make another episode on equalization in Audacity, like what I showed you, but instead of just increasing and decreasing, there's like, you can tweak it so you can actually remove, like, you'll hear the background music. You can actually remove my voice or remove the background music with the equalizer. It's a rough way to do it, but you can do it. So thank you for. I want to make a note to thank everyone who has subscribed to Leck Tech. I read comments under the videos regularly. So tune in next episode, and thank you for watching.